Well, guys, I got my race car back in the shop. The Cutlass is gone. But you know what? There was a customer here. He's always hanging around here, you know. He's a bit of a car nut. And he's like that Cutlass. You know, I got it done, I got it running. He was here when I got it running, and he was really impressed with it. And he always wanted a race car. So the customer that owned the Cutlass was here to pick it up. And Dennis, the guy that hangs around here, he says, you know, you want to sell the car. And, you know, my customer was thinking, well, you know, not really. But so Dennis said, you need a Harley. And he says, yeah, I do. So it turns out that the Cutlass got traded for the Harley. The guy who owned the Harley gave him a little extra cash, plus the bike and trade for the Cutlass. So the Cutlass is like 2 doors down from the shop here now. So we got another race car in town. But I know I'll probably never get another chance to video this bike here because it's going to be gone today. But this is the bike that was traded for the Cutlass. I'm not sure what it is exactly. It's a really nice bike. It's only got 6,000 kilometers on it. Runs really good. It looks pretty good. It's a little dusty right now, but I used to ride bikes quite a bit when I was younger, but I'd be scared to drive this thing because I'd probably tip it and scratch it, and you know, it's heavy. If I sit on it, and I wasn't aware that these bikes were that heavy, but it's a pretty heavy bike for a little bike. But I like bikes, you know. They're cool, especially when they're customized. This one's got custom bars on it. There's not a whole lot of chrome on it. It's just kind of, it looks like gray powder coat. But nice looking bike anyway. But I got the race car in here, and I was going to bring the LS project in, but I had to order a drive shaft for this car, and in order to order a drive shaft I had to get the differential in, and I got the differential in now. I knew, I don't know if you remember from last year, I broke that pinion gear on the old differential, and this one is going to be way stronger. It's got the huge pinion gear in it, big bearings. It's a bolt-through design, and plus it's got a deflection adjuster on the other side, so you can adjust the deflection on the ring gear to keep that ring gear in line. I don't know how well you're going to see it here. I got the light on the other side. Oh. Yeah, this right here, it's a little a bolt with a brass tip on it that goes against the ring gear to keep that ring gear from deflecting. And then it's got the huge pinion yoke on it, big bearing, big billet housing there. Whoops, calipers. So yeah, this is going to be way stronger than what I had. So right now I haven't put it all back together yet because I got to drill these axles out for 5/8 studs. Right now they just got 1/2-inch studs in there, and they didn't like that at the track last year for the speed I was running. They wanted 5/8. So I got to get a 5/8 stud kit and get those drilled and tapped for the 5/8 studs. And then I got to order the drive shaft, so I'll get the studs at the same time. But I got my mock-up engine in here with the injection, and I was just getting the fuel system all set up. I got the pump mounts differently than the old one did. The old one mounted at the bottom of the motor here. This one mounts to the water pump bolts. So I had to relocate the shut-off cable bracket. I just welded a tab to the frame here, and then it runs the shut-off cable right to the shut-off valve here. And then it's just a matter of running the hoses, which is going to be the easy part. But I had to notch this bracket here to fit that over that water pump there. It looks like it needs a little bit more there. It looks like it's just touching the water pump there, so I'll when I get it apart again, I'll fix that up. But I also had to make a throttle cable bracket. This piece I bought, and I thought I could bolt it underneath here and have it hang down and have the throttle come around the front. But the injection is too low. For a blower motor it would work, but because this one's just a tunnel ram, if I have the cable down here, it's just going to bind up and it'll hit the head and the valve cover and whatnot. So I made this bracket here. I had to tap some holes underneath, drill and tap, and then made this bracket, welded this tab on here to hold the other bracket that I bought, and then the cable will just swing around the back and loop back into the car. And I just got this return spring just kind of wrapped around here right now. I want to make something there that looks a little bit nicer. For now, I just wanted to make sure everything worked properly. No binding or anything, so I'm really proud of that bracket though. That came out really nice. Got her all polished up. It's going to look just like factory. So I got to make another bracket for the back here, because the throttle cable is going to come through this hole and then it's going to loop around, but I got to hold it somehow right here, so I'm going to make another bracket off of the back of the intake to come up like this and then hold the cable in place here. But I can't do that until I get my real motor in here, because I don't know exactly where this intake manifold is going to sit. With the dummy motor, I don't trust that it's going to be in the exact same location. So I'm going to wait till I get my real motor in here, and then that's all I really got to do is make a bracket, and then the mock-up is going to be done. I'll run the fuel lines and stuff and get that all figured out before I get the other motor. But the good news is my pistons are in for my new motor, and it's just a matter of balancing the rotating assembly, and then I can assemble it. So that should be done. Should be getting that here hopefully next week. But and then while it's in here, I figured I might as well start on the wiring. I got to get that MSD grid in here. So I clean up what I got here. I got the 7AL3 in there right now. So I'll clean that all up and get the grid installed. Got the delay box there. And last year, I don't know if I showed you, but I installed a valve to turn on the nitrous bottle. And it's got the gauge just before the valve, so the gauge will show how much bottle pressure the bottle has. And basically I can leave the bottle open the whole time, and then that's all I got to do before I make my run is just flip that valve open. And also the nice thing about that is the hose that goes up to the solenoids in there is only about 3 feet long, so it's not going to waste a lot of nitrous. When I close the valve, I purge the system empty, and it's only going to purge out whatever's in that hose. Before I had a long hose that kind of wrapped around here, and it wasted a lot of nitrous. So this way the purge will just purge out that, and it'll be good. So yeah, that's really all I got to do. I'll get started on wiring the grid and finish up mocking up the fuel system here, and then basically just got to put the other motor together and drop it in. Actually, I might be going to the dyno. I'm building a 496 here for a customer, and apparently all the parts are in for that. Should be here next week, so I'll be getting that motor together plus my motor together, and then we're going to probably take them both to the dyno. So we'll bring the video camera along, and we'll see what kind of power these motors make. We're expecting the 496 is a pump gas motor. We're expecting 600 horsepower out of that, And my motor, I want to get 1,000 horsepower naturally aspirated, that like no nitrous. I don't know if he'll let me hit the nitrous on the dyno or not, but I'll bring a bottle along just in case he does, because I think that'd be pretty fun to watch that motor hit the nitrous on the dyno. But other than that, my tires were good end of last year, so they're going to go back on for the first half of the season anyway. The last half of the season, I'll probably have to buy new tires. But yeah, that's all I got. The Cutlass, when it left here, the guy did a nice burnout on the front street. I wish I would have had the camera there, but I'm sure there'll be other opportunities to film that thing, because he's just down the street now. The guy, he left here, he went down the front street here, opened it up, and then he turned the corner to his street, and he opened it up again. Neighbors didn't say anything, I don't think, but yeah, this summer's coming and everybody's getting excited, so that's all I got for now.